because their lives change, the symptoms disappear. So if you come in with a pain and when you leave you don't have a pain, something's different. If you've had a chronic pain for 20 years and there were no results with the traditional therapies or traditional medication, and suddenly you don't have the pain, something went on. So you get results. And it's the results that prove if it's efficient or not. Because if there are no results, there would be no clients.
Sometimes the change is not so quick from one second to the other, it's slowly. And it's a process, and maybe they are not aware of it. They are just aware, then they're looking back and say, oh yes, I'm not taking more of the pills for my stomach, and I took them for 2 years. Or they say, oh yeah, this hurts not anymore. Or they say, oh yes, I'm sleeping better. Yeah, these are soft things. Sometimes it's dramatic, the change. I remember once I had a person, he was a swimmer, and he was very good in the swimming, and then he had a surgery, a little intervention, and he was not able to swim anymore after that surgery. He was fighting in the water. So we did a session about that surgery, and he was swimming relaxed again.
I use 3 criteria, really, in doing this work, because people often wonder, am I making it up or not? And so the very first past life regression I did were really accidental. I was working in a medical practice, pain management, and I had a couple of individuals spontaneously regress back to past life. But I wasn't attempting to do past life. So it was still a question mark for me. Were they really, truly recalling past life? I wasn't sure. But one patient who came had chronic shoulder pain, 7 years, been diagnosed with every itis you could imagine. They tried a number of different treatments unsuccessfully. So I was going to do hypnoanesthesia. She spontaneously regressed to a past life as a slave, where she's stealing food for her starving son. She's caught and beaten to death, and in the process, they stomp on her shoulder. I took her through the session, she came out, and that shoulder pain was gone, forever, right? Was she a slave? At the time I said, I don't know. And to me it doesn't matter, because I'm not trying to prove anything or sell anything. Her pain's gone, that's what's important. Was it a metaphor? Was it a fantasy? At this point I truly believe it. I mean, but I think you have to look at the results. How does it change your life, right? That's one. Another is if a person is imagining, purely fantasizing, is devoid of that kind of emotional charge. The person's crying, they're cold, they're afraid, they're excited, they're happy, they're joyful. If they're just imagining, I don't think you have that kind of charge. And the third thing is, well, if you were going to make up a story and tell me a story, why would you make up that story?
Imagination is, I guess, the route to healing. Imagination is the biggest strength we have. Unless we can imagine anything, we cannot make it happen. So when a person comes to me saying, what if I imagined this? It is possible that anything could be done. I mean, in a palace of possibilities, anything could be true. And sometimes people do tell us that I could have got this memory from a movie I have seen, or a book I have read, or what someone said. What I understand is that in this present scenario, you are here with me discussing an issue in a session. Why would you zone into only this field now? If you had to zone into it intellectually, you could do it anywhere, anytime. Why now? So yes, even if you've imagined it, what I feel is that regression therapy does not seek to prove that regression exists or past life exists, but it's based on the objective of the session. If my objective is that I have an eczema and the eczema needs to go, if the eczema has gone, my story is done. I don't have to prove that you were a prince or a pauper for that eczema to go.
Well, if you look from the transpersonal point of view, I would say the effectiveness comes from the spiritual background of regression therapy. That in a way you can realize that you have dimensions that go beyond the brain, and beyond your personal history. And you can feel yourself like a soul with many stories and with a nature that is different from the body and the brain. So many people really feel their spiritual dimension through the sessions of regression therapy. Yeah, many people find meaning, of course find healing through things in this field and through sessions in this field. And thus they also can find a kind of inner source of wisdom that in a way we have, and we can call it higher self or our soul, that really can come in the sessions, and people can develop trust in the deepest side of themselves.
That's the best.
Yeah.
You know, more than the payment for the session is seeing the transformation, seeing the realization, seeing the healing take place.